really big here, but I've got a big board behind me. Many of you keep asking me questions about different gods and goddesses. Now, this is in no way everything. Some of you may know of some others that I'm not listing here, and that's fine. My goal here is to give you some information, and then you can do more research on your own. That's called teaching. Now, also, this is a class or lesson information that my husband usually teaches, but I cannot get him on camera. So he's given me information plus what I already know, and I've compiled it here. Now, today we're going to talk about the goddesses, and then the next video we will do at least some of the gods, and this is some of the goddesses. So I'm Lady Starfire, and I hope you enjoy the information and learning about goddesses today. Okay, and hopefully you can see this. I have worked really hard on trying to get this all in camera view and where you can read it. If you can't, let me know and I'll add information to the comment. So, here we're talking about names of goddesses, okay? You can refer to the goddess as Lady. You can refer to her as a moon goddess. Earth goddess, which is also known as Gaia. Okay, so we're going to go back to the Sumerian times, which is the oldest documented information that we have. So here in this line we have Sumerian, Akkadian, and Assyrian. Now here we have Queen of Heaven and Earth, so we have Inanna. We also have the goddess of love and war, which is again Inanna. Here we have the dark goddess or death goddess, which is basically the goddess of the underworld. And it's Ereshkigal, which is Inanna's sister. Now here, once again, we have Assyrian again because it kind of changes a little in some places, but it's Assyrian and Babylonian, okay? And it's Ishtar. Under Queen of Heaven and Earth. Under Love and War, we have Ishtar again. And the underworld goddess is Ereshkigal again. Here, there's a lot of the places where they stay the same. The point I'm trying to make to you here is how the goddesses are the same. They simply, as we change pantheons or we change eras, they change the names. Sometimes they change some of the attributes. So you won't see all of the goddesses here. You will see a lot of the goddesses here. There are some others because they fall under different categories. Okay, so let's continue for what we have on this board. Canaanite is Astarte. All right, for Queen of Heaven and Earth. Under Love and War, again, it is Astarte. Under the dark goddess or death, underworld, it is Mot. And I know some people pronounce that different, but that's how I say it. Okay, next line, we have Amorite or Egyptian is Anat, is the way that I was told it's pronounced. It could be Anat. All right. Under Queen of Heaven and Earth. Under Love and War, we have Isis. Under the underworld, and I will butcher this word if somebody knows how to pronounce it. Awesome to you. If you can give me a pronunciation in the comments, that would be really great. But it's spelled Nephthys. So Nephthys is my best pronunciation for it. All right. Here we have Norse. Under the Queen of Heaven and Earth, we have Jord. I was informed that the J in Norse is pronounced like a Y, so the J-O-R-D, and there's supposed to be two little dots above the O. Anyway, is Jord. Then we come over to Goddess of Love and War, and we have Freya. And the goddess under dark or death, underworld, is Hel. That's H-E-L. All right, now coming down to Greek, goddess or the Queen of Heaven and Earth, or Goddess of Heaven and Earth, same thing, is Hera. Goddess of Love and War is Diana. And the dark goddess or goddess of the underworld would be Hecate. All right, now we have Roman. Goddess of heaven and earth is Sybil. Now you notice here under Love and War, we have Diana again. She's one of the few goddesses between Greek and Roman that kept her name and attributes. And then the dark goddess or underworld would be Persephone. Now Persephone, like Inanna, actually only rules for half of the year. Okay, we'll get into a little bit more of that with the gods, but not real in depth on it. So next we have Celtic. All right, so we have the Queen of Heaven and Earth as Danu. And then under Love and War and the Dark Goddess is both Morrigan, or the Morrigan as they're called in their triple parts there. Research them. They're really pretty awesome. Now, last coming to the most recent, okay, Sumerian is the most ancient of information that we have. Christianity is the newest religion of all of them, or thing. For under Queen of Heaven and Earth, even though they don't really recognize it, but in this lineage, we come down to Mary. There is no Love and War under Christianity. Under the dark, the closest thing we can do really is Lilith. I mean, because they really just don't have much of any of it. But due to the biblical teachings, now that they're having to teach the truth about it, that under their teaching, Lilith came before Eve, then, you know, she would be considered the dark goddess. You know, she refused to be ruled by any man, and so she left the Garden of Eden. Now, because of all of the Lilith fairs that come about with midsummer, which is also the summer solstice, they call it a Lilith fair, where they actually celebrate Lilith. Kind of goes along with some women's lib. Only problem is she went and bred with demons, so it kind of became a problem. But anyway, all right, so here we have the goddesses. So we'll go over them again without necessarily all of this. But under Queen of Heaven and Earth, okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come down like it's your lineage, your where this is you, and it goes back through all your great, however many great grandmothers, okay? And yes, there are others. There's other pantheons. I did not include them all, or this video would be hours long. So, under Queen of Heaven and Earth, going back to the most ancient, we have Inanna, Ishtar, Astarte, Anat, Yord, Hera, Sybil, Danu, and Mary. Under Love and War, we have Inanna, Ishtar, Astarte, Isis, Freya, Diana, the Morrigan. And our underworld or dark goddesses, we have Ereshkigal, Mot, Nephthys, Hel, Hecate, Persephone, the Morrigan, and Lilith. Some other information that I wanted to share with you, and I just didn't really have room on the board, so I will do it this way, just so that you can see, hopefully. All are known as Queen of Heaven, which is these, okay, because Mary would be heaven, not earth. All of these goddesses are mothers. Now, some did not technically give birth, but they're still known as a mother because of how they cared for people. Okay, so, and the reason I have this up here is in case you want to copy the information, it's a little easier if you can read it. While earlier goddesses had other attributes, many were changed over time in pantheons, which is what I'm talking about through why these names here change. Okay, now, like I said, Diana managed to survive through Greek and Roman without being changed. So, some other information I wanted to share with you. Diana is also known as the goddess of the hunt, ruling over animals with the god Cernunnos. Now, if you want to learn more about the Sumerian times and Inanna and some of the other older gods and goddesses that ruled at that time, Inanna was simply the main goddess that ruled. She not only was Queen of Heaven and Earth. There's an awesome story where she tried to become the queen of the underworld as well, but Ereshkigal wasn't real thrilled with that. But she, they say that she is also the goddess over prostitutes. Well, there's no real documentation, just people claim that, just like people claimed that Mary Magdalene was a whore, which she wasn't. It was simply a way to try to stop people from listening to her. The disciples refused to be ruled by a woman, and when Jesus said, anything she says, I'm saying, then they started spreading the word that she was a whore to try to discredit her. So, but if you want to learn more about Inanna and the Sumerian times, Samuel Noah Kramer, all right, is the best author on Sumerian times. There are some other authors, but they tend to put everything as aliens and, maybe not, who knows, but he gives the best information and the easiest to understand is Samuel Noah Kramer. Like I said, you can notice I left out the Asian, the Japanese, and many other pantheons in here. But once again, this board would be humongous and we would be going on for hours. So my goal here is to try to get you to understand that, if you're talking with Freya, okay, it's really no different than talking with Inanna or Ishtar or Astarte. They are all mother goddesses, and some, also go into crone. Now, some use some of these, like Hecate or the Morgan, as a crone goddess, and that is fine. I use Inanna as my crone goddess. Diana was my mother goddess that I used as I was learning throughout the years. Going to Diana and as opposed to Inanna, the biggest difference that I notice is the energy level. All right, now Diana is pretty stout, and she can smack you upside the head with the almighty frying pan of illumination, just like any of the rest of them. But in the invoking, I didn't realize there was a difference until I started working with Inanna. I actually fought it for a number of years. But anyway, is in looking back, Diana is like grabbing a 110, sometimes maybe even a 220. Invoking Inanna is like grabbing hold of a lightning bolt, okay? So I do not recommend anybody just starting out to go straight and work with Inanna, because she is the most ancient. She is more of a crone goddess. And when you work with her, she expects that you know your stuff. Diana is one that is very loving, very understanding. She's that mother, when you fall down and the mama comes and picks you up and dusts off your little bottom there and stuff. That's Diana. Now, once you've been working with her for a long time, yes, she will expect that there are things that you should know. And if you're not following and doing things the correct way, yep, expect that smack of that almighty frying pan of illumination upside the back of your head. Inanna will just simply do it much sooner, because being a crone goddess, she expects that you should know what you're doing before you work with her. Now, granted, and that's the same with any of them going back in time. Each level, you will notice a strength in them that you may not have noticed in the others. So I hope this really helps you. It can be very confusing. It is a giant rabbit hole that you can go in, because there is so much mixed up information out there on the internet. So if you want to delve into this, I bless you. Okay. So, but you do need to have a basic understanding. And this is what I'm trying to give you here. And I'm doing this because I've had a lot of people asking me about the different goddesses. Now, my next video, I will do some of the gods. Once again, it will not be anywhere near all of the lineages. There are more lineages than these. These are just some of the main ones that people work with and people are interested in. So this is what I'm doing. If you want more, go research them. just put in like queen or goddess of heaven and earth, goddess of love and war, because in each of these pantheons, they sometimes remove things and try to give them a different attribute. So it gets very confusing. Do not try to get into their consorts unless you're going to start cutting out paper dolls and you have a lot of patience, because, well, one, due to names being similar and the translations, sometimes what you end up getting is this one is this one's husband. It's then in another writing, it's their son. Another writing, it's their father or their brother. And it just gets very confusing, okay? So if you want to delve into it, have at it. If you want to send me what all you find, thank you. I really appreciate it. And I will be happy to share that with others if you want me to. But for now, this is enough to get you started. If you work in one of the other pantheons, maybe this will give you enough information to try to help you. Please be careful about things like Wikipedia. There's some good information in there, but it's also a situation that people add information. So sometimes it's not always factual, because I don't know that there's somebody that checks it out. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but I have found great information in there and I found false information. So go to sources that you can trust. And granted, I know that's hard to find, but just do a lot of research. Don't take the first thing that you find as factual. Do some more research on it. Well, I hope this helps you in your journey in trying to choose your goddess, or if your goddess is choosing you, to maybe understand a little bit more about who she is, who she isn't, who she might be connected to. Because remember, we deal with Maiden Mother Crone. So I didn't even delve into the aspects of who's who on that one. But just as for instance, you've got Inanna is the same as Ishtar. And then you could go to Venus, which is one of the reasons they give the goddess of love. They're connected with the planet Venus. So Astarte could be deemed a maiden, or you could go all the way down to Venus or Aphrodite. It depends on which pantheon you want to go. Okay, so choose your goddess based on your kind of age bracket, your experience level, this sort of thing. Okay, so I hope this helps. If you like the information, do me a favor, click the little like button, share this with somebody else that may want or need this information. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And I will have a snapshot of this, as probably as my cover, or somewhere, if I can put it in the comments, I will. So in case you weren't able to get it all written down or see it well enough, you'll have the information. So anyway, until the next time, everyone have a great day and blessed be.